Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. After a long week of that inhumane demolition of houses in Mavoko, the East African Portland Cement Company finally released an invitation that they are willing to sell that parcel of land. And they are saying that priority will be given to those who are the current occupants of the land. This is what they are saying, that East African Portland Cement wishes to notify members of the public of its offer to sell the above referenced parcel of land via a regularization model. That first and preferential priority shall be offered to the parties currently occupying sections of the said parcels. Those in this kind of situation are advised to state their claim of the same within 14 days from the date of this notice. At the expiry of this notice, all unclaimed portions shall be competitively offered to the general public on a willing buyer, willing seller basis. A site office has been set up, and an office for this purpose is also available within the East African Portland Cement Company premises along Namanga Road. Many Kenyans have really reacted to this move because the move is good, but the timing is just wrong. I remember William Ruto, while campaigning, there was a time when some land and some buildings were demolished, and he really condemned Uhuru Kenyatta, and he promised Kenyans that when he ascends to power, he will ensure that there is an amicable solution whenever we have such controversy among landowners and those who are claiming those parcels of lands. And he was saying that it is very inhumane for a parent to come home and meet pieces of utensils around because they have been brought down and the houses have been demolished. And people are wondering exactly what is happening because there is a sharp U-turn. The East African Portland Cement Company knew very well that they had such a move. They knew very well that the very first intention why they were bringing down the buildings was to sell the land. And if that land belongs to them, it's okay. But my worry is, if they had such a wonderful solution where those who already occupy the land would be given preferential and first-hand priority so that they can pay or because they already used a lot of money to build the land, to build their buildings there. I understand that issues of land are very emotive, and there are arguments that maybe these people bought this land knowing very well that it belonged to another ownership. I agree that could have happened. But then now they are coming up and saying that, be that as it may, they are willing to listen to those who occupy that land. Why exactly did they wait for this too long? Because there are people who built with loans. There are people who used all their savings there. Why did they act earlier? And I will tell you the reason why this happened. In as much as it could be their prerogative to do this at their convenience, there was a lot of politics going on because the government wanted to show the Kamba people that they are in power. And what they expected was to see Wavinya Ndeti and Kalonzo Musyoka going to visit State House in their usual narrative, kujeni tupange. I'm telling you, if Kalonzo Musyoka had led a host of other leaders to State House and begged William Ruto to stop the demolitions, I can assure you there would have been this arrangement on the spot. The president would have talked to the management of the Portland, East African Portland Cement Company to ensure that there is a meeting. Because I remember Rigathi Gachagua was saying very well that the MCA, the member of parliament, the governor, and all the stakeholders, including those from the East African Portland Cement Company, should have sat down and discussed this. And now look at it this way. The deputy president knew such arrangement can really help us solve such a big problem. The East African Portland management also knew that there is such a program. Why could they just sit together and ensure that we had an amicable solution? And this tells you that there was a bit of politics in it. Because that very week, Raila Amolo Odinga had proposed Kalonzo Musyoka as the heir apparel in 2027, that he will bear the flag of Azimio for the presidential race. And this, I'm sure, really angered the government, because Kalonzo has been really proved to be a hard nut to crack. And this is why their people are suffering. And I'm not saying that it is good. I'm not really supporting invading riparian land or land that belongs to someone. There should be a search, a surveyor, a land valuer. You should really do your search before you invest your money on something that you know can really create a lot of problems. I remember some times back, there's a lady who committed suicide after her building was brought down in Syokimau, and she really felt very bad. To avoid such things, the government, the stakeholders, the officials, the land ministry, the city inspector department must come together to ensure that we avert such problems. We advise accordingly. And in my earlier video, I had told you that corruption will always eat into these departments, so that it's very difficult to cure such problems. So the issue of politics also took place. Number two, there are people who are interested in this land. That is why they had to demolish an already built structures. Then they invite you to go talk to them. Number one, they know such people are already disappointed, and they will not even be able to sit down to talk to them. Some of them have used their money, they don't even have money anymore. And so even if they invite them now, I know a few will go there, but it is very wrong, and Kenyans have really condemned this. They should have invited the occupants of that land before they demolished. Instead of waiting to demolish really this in a very inhumane way, then they do this invitation. So there are people who are already interested. Wale mabwenyenye, some of them I know have already paid. So they will go there under the guise of maybe they were there, or they are ready to pay. And this is the reason why this is happening. But I will always say this: land issues are some of the very atrocities that we are sitting on, historical injustices. We have refused to open the Ndungu reports. Both the government and the opposition is lying there, and we want to play politics. We want to blame the government. We want to blame the land ministry. We want to blame who and who. But we have a way of doing this. Even as we speak, those who authorized building in these regions, in these particular parcels of land, have not been brought to book. Because we had officials who took some money, officials who authorized such structures, and they are working scot-free. Yet, innocent Kenyans who perhaps just bought this without knowing are now, suffering losses. And I think that moving forward, we should avert such kind of things by ensuring that those who caused this problem are brought to book. And to the East African Cement Company, this is a good move, but in a very wrong timing, because people have already lost their property. And I don't know what you think, but I feel there is a lot of politics going on in this.